Roberts. Okay, good afternoon. This is Judge Alyssa Perez resuming the criminal docket for the 210th District Court for May 31st, 2022. Again, all matters being heard today are being heard in accordance with all emergency orders and directives regarding COVID-19. In addition to that, we're streaming all matters live via YouTube for public viewing. Let's see, I guess, where's Mr. Islas? Annex will need Isaac Gonzalez. Thank you. All right, and let me just verify. Erica, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Yay, okay. Mr. Gonzalez, this is Judge Perez. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. Let us get squared away and then we'll go ahead and get your case. It's two, please. Okay, I'll go ahead and call him. Are you ready, Mr. Islas?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Calling cause numbers 2021-0D02889 and 2021-0D02890, State of Texas versus Isaac Gonzalez. May I have announcements, please?
Robert King for the state of Texas.
Good afternoon, Judge Luis Islas for Isaac Gonzalez. We're ready.
And Mr. Islas, do you recognize your client appearing from the jail annex?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Gonzalez, this is Judge Perez. I have each of your cases set for a plea today, and I'm going to be asking you some questions regarding your pleas. So I need to swear you in. Would you please raise your right hand? Sir, do you swear or affirm that any testimony you provide will be the truth and the whole truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. You can put your hand down. I will tell you this, we've been having some audio issues today. I don't know if it's an internet thing. So if at any point you are not able to hear either me or the attorneys, please stop me and we'll go back so you can we can repeat anything you may have missed. Also, please keep your voice volume up, okay? So we can make sure and hear you on this side. All righty. Sir, would you state your name and date of birth for the record?
Isaac Gonzalez, 1992.
Okay. Mr. Gonzalez, as I mentioned, both of your cases are set for a plea today. So I'm going to be asking you questions regarding your plea and any documents you may have reviewed. Again, when I'm referring to documents, I'll ask about one set of documents per case, okay? The first set of documents I'm going to ask you about are marked as States Exhibits number 1. Those are the plea papers for each of your cases. Within that document, you're guaranteed certain rights, including the right to remain silent, the right to trial by jury, the right to counsel, the right to confront and cross-examine witnesses, and the right to call witnesses on your behalf and in your defense. Mr. Gonzalez, do you recall reviewing States Exhibit number 1, the plea papers with your attorney and signing those documents?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you understand everything contained within those documents?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Islas, have you had more than 10 days to prepare defenses in these cases?
I have, Your Honor.
And did you explain the plea papers to your client?
I did.
Do you believe he has understood the admonishments, rights, and consequences of giving up these rights by entering his pleas today?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Gonzalez, are you satisfied with your attorney's representation of you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Islas, do you have any reason to believe your client is not presently competent to enter his plea?
No reason at all.
Mr. Gonzalez, have you ever been found incompetent by any court?
No, Your Honor.
Ever been examined by a doctor or psychiatrist who has found you mentally ill?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So based on your testimony, your attorney's representations, and my observations of you, I am going to find that you are competent to enter your pleas today. Sir, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Where were you born?
Here in El Paso.
In El Paso, Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in cause number 2021-0D02889, the charge against you is possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 1 in an amount between 4 and 200 grams. That's a second-degree felony. To that charge, sir, what is your plea? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
And in cause number 2021-0D02890, I understand the plea is only as to count 2, which is manufacture or delivery of a controlled substance in penalty group 1 in an amount between 1 and 4 grams. Sir, to that charge, what is your plea? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you making each of your pleas freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
I will find you are making your pleas freely and voluntarily. Ms. King, would you summarize the evidence, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Were the state to proceed to trial on the indictment, the state would have proven each and every element, the offense charged, possession of controlled substance in penalty group 1, equal to or greater than 4 grams, but less than 200 grams in cause number 2021 0D02889, and count 1 to 4 in cause number 2021 0D02890 beyond a reasonable doubt. Judge, the defendant is pleading to 3 years in the Texas Department of Corrections to run concurrent for both cause numbers, and the state will dismiss count 1, 3, and 4 in cause number 2021 0D02890 and other terms and conditions stated on the state's plea paperwork. And at this time, the state moves to admit Exhibit 1 as the state's plea paperwork, Exhibit 2, Article 3914 disclosure, and Exhibit 3 as the indictments.
No objection.
Without objection, states 1, 2, and 3 are admitted as to each case. Mr. Islas, is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
And Mr. Gonzalez, is that your understanding as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, understand that the plea agreement is not binding on the court. However, if I were to reject it, I would allow you to withdraw your pleas. If I follow the plea agreement, you may not appeal these cases except on matters raised by written motion and ruled on before trial or by permission of the court. The next document I'm going to ask you about is the one-page document entitled The Trial Court Certification of Your Right to Appeal. It is a document that explains your appeal rights. Because these are plea, bargained, or negotiated cases, you do not have an automatic right of appeal. Mr. Gonzalez, do you recall reviewing the trial court certification and signing that document?
Yes, Your Honor.
They were signed by your attorney and signed by the court as well. So on your pleas of guilty and the evidence introduced, I will accept your pleas and at this time find the evidence substantiates your guilt. In cause number 2021 0D02890, I will find you guilty in count 2 of manufacture or delivery of a controlled substance in penalty group 1 in an amount between 1 and 4 grams. And in cause number 2021 0D02889, I will find you guilty of possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 1 in an amount between 4 and 200 grams. I will sentence you according to the plea agreement to 3 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Institutional Division. Those sentences will run concurrent with one another, and you will receive credit for any and all time that you have served. Is there anything further, Mr. Islas or Ms. King?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing further from the defense, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Good luck to you, Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All righty. So let's
May I
go
be
to-
excused?
You may. Thank you, Mr. Islas.
Thank you, everyone. Stay well.
You too. Okay, so if we could have Arleth Ramirez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Ramirez, okay. Go ahead, Mr. Marufo.
In cause number 2021 0D03227, State of Texas versus Arleth Ramirez. Announcement of counsel, please.
Robert King for the state of Texas.
Charles Roberts for the defense, Your Honor.
And Ms. Ramirez is appearing from the jail annex. We are scheduled for a bond hearing today. Mr. Roberts, you may proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. We'd had a previous bond hearing.
Mhm.
At that time, it was believed that she had federal charges pending as well as several state charges. The state charges have been either declined or dismissed, and the federal charge apparently never existed, as best we can determine. So we're asking that she only has the instant case. She does not have an extensive, I don't know what kind of, I don't think she has any criminal actual convictions. And we would ask that if she could be released on a PR bond.
Okay, is this, give me one.
She's indigent, I'm appointed.
Okay, thank you. I'm showing it to be 35,000, right? She had a PR revo, but that was declined. All right, Ms. King, go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. The state at this time will not oppose the bond reduction. I did speak to Mr. Roberts, I believe, early last week, and we did confirm that the federal charge that was actually showing up on the rap sheet is not it was not supposed to be there. I'm not sure what happened. We did speak about that. There is a rec at this moment on Portal.
What's the rec?
Your Honor, it's going to be 5 deferred. Initially, it was straight probation, but now it's deferred, and it was due to that federal charge.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me just review the PSR information.
She would be staying with her mother.
And Ms. King, as I'm understanding, the state does not object to a straight PR bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Dropped. Okay. Yeah, there were some entries here, but I'm showing that those were dropped. Okay. And we're set for trial here pretty soon, are we not? Let me look. I thought I saw that we're set in July. So yes, I have her down for July 22nd. We have our final judges on June 23rd. I'll go ahead and grant the request at this point, now that we have a little bit more clarity on the prior criminal history. I'm trying to see if there was any other issues with respect. Are you showing anything with respect to PR bond? Any issues like that, Ms. King? Was she ever? No, I don't see anything on this case. I don't see anything here that we had any issues. Okay, so it'll be a $35,000 PR bond. She is to report. I'm gonna have her reporting bi-weekly just because we're so close up to trial, Mr. Roberts. I don't know if you all are gonna resolve this or we're actually looking at a trial. But what that means, Ms. Ramirez, is that you're gonna have some instructions to report to the PR bond office. That's gonna be separate and apart to you appearing for court, okay? Right now, we're still under COVID protocol, which means that for PR bond, I'm going to allow you to report by phone. You are to live, I'm understanding from your attorney, you are to live with your mother. And so you provide, you are to provide all your contact and home residence information to the PR bond office, as well as the information to contact you via telephone. You may not change your place of residence or leave El Paso County without for permission. You're going to be subject to testing, or you're to use no illegal drug or alcohol. There's not any co-defendants, are there? Are there any co-defendants in this case?
Yes, Your Honor. One of the other co-defendants pled, I think, last.
Okay, so you were to have no contact with any co-defendants, whether they pled or not. If they were involved in this incident, you can have no contact, no texting, no anything. No social media, that type of thing until we get your case resolved. Again, subject to testing. I'm gonna give her a curfew. Do you know, is she gonna be working, Mr. Roberts, or?
I don't know that.
Okay, well, you're gonna have a curfew, Ms. Ramirez, from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. unless you are working or going to school. Basically, your case is coming up pretty quickly here for trial, okay? So don't mess up. What I'm saying is you're gonna have to report to PR bond as instructed. Also, Mr. Roberts, please inform your client about the reporting for court. So Ms. Ramirez, anytime that you have a court hearing, so you're coming up for a hearing on June 23rd. June 23rd is a Thursday. That Monday prior to your hearing and any other hearing, you have to check in via Zoom. I will rely on your attorney to explain to you how to do that. It's kind of what we're doing here, and we do that on the Mondays before your hearing, okay? If you have any questions, you contact your attorney about that reporting, okay? Mr. Roberts, were you gonna say something?
I was just going to ask her to call my office when she.
Sure.
I'll give her.
Okay, so get in touch with your attorney, Ms. Ramirez, and we'll go from there, but the PR bond is granted.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Ms.
Thank you,
Bustamante,
Your Honor.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Just send me the order whenever. If you have any questions, let me know in the email, okay? Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Roberts. If you don't have anything else, you're excused. All right, I believe Judge Munoz was next, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Judge.
Mm-hmm.
Annex, may we have Randy Rollins?
All right, Mr. Rollins is there? Great. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Marujo.
In cause number 2020-0D0-2293 and 2020-0D0-1328 and 2020-0D0-1714, State of Texas versus Randy Rollins. Announcement of council, please.
Bubba King for the state of Texas.
Judge, you're muted.
Maximiliano Daniel Munoz for Mr. Rollins. We're ready to proceed, Your Honor.
And Mr. Rollins is appearing from the jail annex. I think all of his cases are set for status conferences. What kind of update do we have here?
If I may, Your Honor,
Sure.
Mr. Rollins I was appointed to him on the initial case.
Mhm.
He was out on PR bond. No, he was out on a bond through a bonding company.
Mhm.
Then he picked up another one, and then he picked up another one. By this time, you had allowed him to go back home and report at the time the pandemic was getting real bad.
Mhm.
And he went to Carlsbad. He picked up something over there,
Mhm.
and he did some time with the state of New Mexico. I believe it was a little bit close to 2 years. Before that, we had a recommendation by the state regarding these cases. However, I mean, things have changed drastically. He has a lot. He should have a lot of time credit to his cases, Your Honor.
Okay, so basically, for my purposes, we need to get him, I don't know if we're gonna get to a resolution. At the very least, I'm gonna need to set him for trial if we're not gonna be there. And I don't wanna be in a period where we don't have a trial setting. But I understand maybe that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to trial. I just don't wanna not have a trial setting. Ms.
I
King,
understand
have you wrecked these cases?
No, Your Honor, I'm actually pending the contact with the complaining witness on the aggravated assault with a deadly weapon from 2020. The first cause number.
Okay, so let me get on the calendar here. Because he's in custody, I would imagine, Judge, I don't know if you're gonna request at some point a bond hearing, but I'm still gonna set him fairly quickly. Let me look. I'm gonna just say September 30th. And I know that's our backup for another case. But let me just double check. I think that was a pretty good date on the calendar. Any conflicts with that, Judge, that you know offhand, September 30th?
Let me see, Judge.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look at my old style calendar. September 30th.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say that's when I go back to school, but that's been some years.
I know we have we have somewhat of a light schedule. So if we can use that date, that'd be good.
I have a jury trial that's one of them is I have 3 jury trials on the 20th. I know at least one is gonna go, Your Honor, on the 30th. I don't have anything.
So we'll put September 30th for now, because I think it gives you enough time to work things up if we need to. If we're looking at a plea, it keeps us on a tight timetable. And if we see an issue with that trial date, we do have some flexibility. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and set it, all 3 cases for September 30th. Myrna, if you would please add some preliminary dates in terms of 2801 deadline, and then the final hearing plea deadline prior to the actual trial setting. And if we see you before then for a bond hearing or anything like that, Judge, just let me know.
I am going to file some bond hearings, but there's also a misdemeanor out of County Court number 7.
Okay,
And I don't know how the judge in that case will be because he did skip out on a bond on that one, but I will set off for him.
okay. Well, we'll get you a trial track, so we keep him on track and keep the cases moving, and we'll see where we end up.
And
Okay.
if a reasonable recommendation comes down, we don't have to go to trial.
Obviously,
That's-
yeah.
She
So
served enough time already.
we'll check in with Ms. King on that. Okay, Mr. Rollins, we're getting you your dates. We're getting you your trial settings. Your attorney can work on your cases, okay?
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Judge. If you don't have anything else, you're good to go.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, who is next?
We're back on page 4, Judge. Bottom of
Okay.
page 4. Annex, may we have Fernando Ayala?
Yes, sir. Ayala Fernando.
Good afternoon, Judge. How are you?
Hello, Ms. Arditi, how are you doing?
Very well. And yourself, Judge?
I'm good, thanks. Let's see. Is that Mr. Ayala? Go ahead, Mr. Marupo.
In cause number 2022 0D0 0050 and 2020 0D0 3281 and 2022 0D0 0152 and 2021 0D0 0763, State of Texas versus Fernando Ayala. Announcement of council, please.
King for the state of Texas.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Regina Arditi on behalf of Fernando Ayala, and we are ready on.
And Mr. Ayala is appearing from the jail annex. We are set for various status conference revocation hearings. I think this was a reset with the idea that we were inquiring, Ms. Arditi, with your client about going to BHRTC. Now, with that said, I know we have a 2022 case still outstanding, or 2 of them, I guess. No, I'm sorry, 1 of them, 1 outstanding. So did you have an opportunity to speak with your client about placement in BHRTC?
Your Honor, what the last time that we had gotten together, he was supposed to have been screened for TAP.
So I
That
believe,
was-
if I'm not mistaken, he was screened, and I think we were at the same place last time where he was screened and I believe approved for BHRTC. Carla, I'm trying to get to my case summaries. Can you help me on this one?
Yes, Your Honor, good afternoon. Yes, that is correct. Mr. Ayala was screened for TAP, I believe like a few months ago there in jail, and the recommendation was he did qualify for residential for BHRTC.
Okay. So did you talk to your client about that, Mr. Arditi?
No, I misunderstood. I thought I was waiting still to find out whether he was going to be in screen for TAP. I did not realize he was already approved for residential treatment, but I know that my client had previously told me that he wanted to go into treatment.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is exactly where we were last time. And Diddy, I'm not sure where the confusion is. So we're going to take a quick break off of YouTube, and I'm going to put you in a breakout room with your client so that